So the city tried to build a public toilet last year, but then gave up when the cost hit $1.7 million. Not $1.7 million for a public toilet system, $1.7 million for one toilet. And this wasn't some magic toilet that catches your phone when you drop it. So then a private company took pity on San Francisco and offered to build them their toilet for free. But after, quote, project management, construction management, architecture and engineering fees, permits, civic design review, surveys, contract preparation, and cost estimation, the free toilet was still going to cost almost $1 million. It's no wonder that in 2021, San Francisco issued only 2,000 permits for new homes. Sure, there are people living in the streets, but that's because we want to make sure the apartments they don't live in are perfect. I don't fear AI anymore because it couldn't possibly be any more robotic than the humans who run things now.
When your city spends $1.7 million on a single toilet, while the streets still smell like poop, yeah, that's not a punchline. That's California. And Bill Maher, he didn't just call out the absurdity, he obliterated it, live on TV, while sipping realism like it was the finest wine. Maher kicked things off by saying he doesn't even fear AI anymore. Why? Because the real robots are already running San Francisco. We live in a world where Elon Musk is sending rockets into orbit with reusable boosters. But if you try to build a public toilet, you'll drown in permits, hearings, and environmental reports.
It's not that America isn't able to get anything done. It's that we're not allowed to. Of course, there should be consideration of the environment on everything we build, but as so often happens on the left, they seem to have no ability to recognize when they've taken a concept way too far and are in fact hurting their own cause. America's become Gulliver, the giant that got tied down with 1,000 tiny ropes by Lilliputians, the horde of little people who do big damage. Build back better? Sounds good. So does shovel-ready jobs. Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to modern America, where progress goes to die under a mountain of bureaucracy. Translation: we've turned the Golden Gate into a red tape bridge. He went on to roast the left's obsession with procedures. Biden's Build Back Better plan? More like Build Back Never, he quipped. Maher pointed out how every project becomes a black hole of forms, fees, and billions in missing funds. Not because we can't build things, but because we're not allowed to.
As Barack Obama once said, one of the biggest lessons he learned as president was there is no such thing as shovel-ready projects. Environmental impact statements used to be a few pages long. Now they're thousands of pages of legalistic nonsense and take an average of 4.5 years to complete, with thousands of bureaucrats filling out millions of paper forms that kill hundreds of forests to answer the question, is this good for the environment? In San Francisco, the city's so nice you'll step in poop twice.
He compared America to Gulliver, tied down by 1,000 tiny ropes. The country that once built railroads across continents now needs a committee to approve the use of a shovel. It's an epic failure of efficiency. Then, Maher dropped one of those bars that's funny because it's painfully true. San Francisco, which is drowning in homelessness, issued only 2,000 new housing permits in 2021. 2,000 total. Meanwhile, thousands of people are sleeping on sidewalks. But hey, at least the imaginary apartments they'll never live in are eco-certified perfection. That's not urban planning, that's parody.
It feels like San Francisco is actually proud of being impossible. Asked about the toilet, a spokesman for the Department of Public Works said, "We are a city of public input." Okay, but I'm stepping in public output.
And then came the pièce de résistance, the $1.7 million toilet saga. The city wanted to fix the problem of public defecation. Totally fair, but instead of solving the issue quickly, they turned one toilet into a $1.7 million nightmare. And no, this wasn't some fancy Japanese toilet that plays lo-fi beats and analyzes your protein intake. It was just a toilet. A private company even offered to build it for free. But after the city piled on project management fees and architectural reviews, that free toilet ballooned to almost $1 million.
So let me finish with this. Not that there was ever any reason to build it in the first place, and not that there would be any reason to do it again. But just as an exercise in realizing how far we've regressed as the can-do people, I think we should all try to imagine how it will go down if we tried to sculpt Mount Rushmore out of a mountain today. First, we'd have to make the mountain handicap accessible, so we could hire handicapped people to work on the side of a mountain. Then there'd be a 10-year delay while we studied the effect of construction noise on the mating habits of woodchucks. Then another 10 years to obtain ethically sourced dynamite and find a sculptor who doesn't only work from home.
Bro, San Francisco didn't flush money down the toilet. They poured it in. Maher roasted it perfectly. The people trying to save the planet are chopping down forests to prove they care about the planet. Maher zoomed out and dropped a truth bomb. California can't build homes fast enough because the process itself is designed to fail. It takes, on average, 627 days to approve a new house in San Francisco. That's 217 days longer than it took to build the Empire State Building. Our grandparents built skyscrapers faster than we can build bathrooms. You need 87 permits just to get started, 15 from the Planning Commission, 26 from utilities, 19 from inspectors, 17 from public works, and probably one from some dude wearing a federal boob inspector shirt. This isn't progress. It's self-sabotage with paperwork. Maher made the point clear. We've turned progress into paperwork. We can 3D print organs and Land Rovers on Mars, but can't pour concrete without 1,000 signatures. It's not innovation anymore. It's inertia. Maher joked that if we tried to build Mount Rushmore today, it would take 50 years and cost $100 billion. First, we'd need to make the mountain handicap accessible. Then, we'd spend 10 years studying how construction noise affects woodchucks. We'd spend another decade finding ethically sourced dynamite. And after 50 years, we'd have half a nostril, and it wouldn't even be Lincoln. It'd be Che Guevara. Then Maher hit them with the woke irony. He said the issue isn't that people don't care. It's that they care so hard they stop doing anything. The left's intentions are pure, but the results, nothing. California is the proof. Every problem gets a meeting, not a solution. We've replaced action with awareness, and awareness doesn't build toilets. America's been paralyzed by procedure. Maher's monologue wasn't just comedy, it was therapy. He reminded everyone that good intentions don't matter if they don't produce results. Our ancestors built bridges, railroads, and entire cities in less time than it now takes to get a permit for a bike lane. They weren't perfect, but at least they did something. Now we worship caution like it's a religion, mistaking it for virtue. But too much caution isn't virtue. It's paralysis. By the end, Maher summed it all up. America's biggest problem isn't left versus right. It's paperwork versus progress. We've built a society where the process matters more than the result. Overregulation has replaced logic. Bureaucracy has replaced efficiency. We can't even build a toilet without triggering a climate summit and 3 ethics reviews. Maher ended it with that trademark smirk. I'm not scared of AI anymore. It couldn't possibly be more robotic than the humans running things. The takeaway is simple. America doesn't need another summit, another 500-page report, or another task force on the task force. It needs courage, accountability, and the guts to actually build something. Because if it takes $1 million to build a toilet, the system itself is the real pile of poop. Maher said what millions of people are thinking. We're tired of leaders studying problems to death instead of solving them. We don't need dreamers, we need doers. Real talk. If this country could once build the Empire State Building in 410 days, maybe we can figure out how to build a bathroom in less than a decade. So yeah, Bill Maher roasted California so hard the state should issue a permit for burns. Love him or hate him, the man exposed how progress has turned into a parody. Because at this point, California isn't the future of America. It's a warning label. If you agree, hit that like button, drop a comment, and tell me, has bureaucracy gone too far? Or are we still pretending that meetings make progress? And if you want more takes that don't tiptoe around the obvious, subscribe, because the only thing slower than California's construction department is someone waiting for change without calling it out.